The materials you will be needing for this project will be one spool of thread out of the 30 different colors that will be included in your kit, one needle, 2.2 inches that will also be included in your kit, and your 4 pieces of fabric. Before you guys get started, I want to remind you that the darker impression of the fabric should always be on the inside, while the fainter, lighter one should be on the outside. First, grab one portion of the fabric with another portion. Align them together perfectly. Remember, the darker impression will always be on the inside. You will then be sewing the fabric, the curvy portion, with your thread and needle. Take your spool of thread and measure it on the curvy portion of the fabric. And then double it, as we will be cutting a knot at the end. Make sure to also leave a bit more space for the knot tying, and then cut it. Next, we'll be threading the thread through the needle hole. It should be really easy as it's a big eye. Now, I am tying a double knot at the end of the thread. Make sure that the space is as big as available, so also make sure to tie your double knot really small. You can pull on the lower end of the thread to make your sewing space a bit bigger. Your sewing thread should be around this size. Now comes the actual sewing portion. Puncture the needle through the top right corner of the curvy portion. Extend it as long as you can without the whole thread going through. This is because you want the needle to go between the two threads at the very end, and then pull the needle all the way through. Also make sure that everything is lined up when you're doing this. Afterwards, you should have something that looks like this. It's fine if you have something hanging at the end. We can cut it later. The technique you want when sewing is many sharp twists and turns with a needle. Then pull everything through. Also make sure to pull the fabric moderately for it to be not too tight and not too loose. Repeat the sewing throughout the curvy portion of the fabric. I will speed it up for you guys, and I'll meet you there when you guys get to the end. Once you guys get to the end, the only thing left to do is to tie a knot at the end. To do this, thread the needle through one final time and leave a small hole in the gap. Afterwards, you're going to insert the needle into the hole. This will guarantee a tight and secure knot. It is the same exact process as the beginning. After you cut the thread off the needle, you should have something that looks like this. Something not too tight and not too loose. Next, repeat the process again for the other two remaining fabrics. Once you're done sewing the two fabrics, you should have something that looks like these. What you're going to do is that you're going to face the darker imprint on the inside again, and then place the one opposite to the first one, so that on the outside, it's only the fainter imprint. Again, line everything up and make sure that the fainter imprint is always on the outside. After you guys are done lining the fabric, do the same measurements as before. We're going to do one portion at a time, meaning you guys are going to measure the top portion and then double it. Also leave a little bit of more space for your knot tying as well. Again, we're going to start from the right and go to the left. Remember to align your fabric together as well. However, leave some space to the right. This is because we're going to unfurl the entire mask after we're done sewing the whole portion. Use the same methods and technique as before. Go little zigzag lines until you can't anymore because of the needle size. Afterwards, push the needle out and pull everything together. Remember to pull and push moderately so that the fabric don't become too loose or too tight. I will once again speed up the process for you guys. I'll see you guys at the end. At the end, use the same knot tying trick as before. Leave a little hole at the end and then twist the needle in. At the end of the first portion, you should have something that looks like this. Remember to straighten out the threads as well. After you're done repeating the whole process for the bottom portion as well, you should unfurl the mask. While unfurling the mask, do not pull too hard as it might break the stitches. Up until this step, your whole mask should look like this. We're gonna put the elastic next. The elastics inside the kit should measure around 7 to 8 inches. The method I like to use is putting in the elastics first and then stitching up the fabric. The thread you would need would not be very long. Just guess how much thread you would need and double that amount, as you would need to tie a knot at the end. Sew this portion of the mask as you would in any portion. Make sure to also tie a knot at the beginning and at the end. Your end product for this step should look like this. Trim away the remaining threads and the needle thread. Afterwards, tie a double knot on the elastic while trying to use the least amount of space. Trim the remaining elastics after you're done. Repeat this for the other side of the mask. Your final product should look something like this. Thank you guys all for volunteering and watching this video. I hope this helps and I can't wait to see your final products.